Welcome back to Arcade. I am Super Tommy, and we've been talking about adding buttons to our Phaser 3 game. So in the last couple of videos, we've looked at the Rex UI button, the Rex UI plugins that you can install and use the button from there. We talked about Bulma, a CSS framework, and you can use the same technique to add any button from any CSS framework to your game. So the Bulma button looks like this. You just click me with the GitHub icon. This is a DOM element. If you want to see how we did both of those examples, check out our previous videos. In this video, we're going to actually make a button from scratch natively in Phaser. If you want to make serious customizations like wood panel backing or things to make your game way more immersive UI. So if you're looking to do that, this is how you can make a custom button. So let's get started. So I'm going to move myself here to the bottom right, about right there. So we're going to make a new scene in our project. So we've been using the Phaser 3 parcel template. You can find it at the Arcade GitHub at github.com/arcade/phaser3-parcel-template. But whatever setup you're using should work fine as well. We're using TypeScript code. If you're using modern JavaScript, the code will be basically the same, just get rid of all the types. So that is that. The setup, so that our setup will work with your setup. And so we're going to make a new scene here to put our custom button code into. So we're going to make a new scene. We're going to call this custom button demo scene.ts. So in much the same way we've done before, I'm going to first import Phaser, then we are going to export the default. The default export is going to be a class we make, which is custom button demo scene. That's what I named it. It extends phaser.scene. Put a constructor in here. Super. Give it a key, custom button. We will probably have something to preload. Well, I know we will because we're going to use custom graphics. And we're going to have a create. So let's put in console.log custom button to make sure that is happening. So we've left off here, we've got our Bulma demo scene, but we don't want that right now. So we're going to go to this Hello World scene. So if you've not seen the other videos, it looks like this. There it is. And okay, so instead, what we're going to do, I'm going to delete that. Okay, import custom button demo scene from scenes, custom button demo scene. And we will run or start that first. Custom button demo scene. Here it is, custom button. So we see this create is getting called, so that's working. So we are going to load, we have these button graphics. These are from Kenny, kenny.nl, that's KENNEY.nl, that's his website. Do check it out. There's great Creative Commons 0, Creative Commons 1 assets that you can use. He's got many. These are just 3 of them. These are 3 different buttons, and we're going to use that here. So we're going to preload these. So let's call this .load.image. We're going to call this button 1. It's in assets blue button 01.png. Let's copy that. Blue button 02. We'll call this button 2. And then blue button 03. And we'll call this button 3. So that preloads our buttons. So normally, let's just make sure that this is working. We can add an image at 400. Hello. At 400, 300, and let's just say button 1. Right, we'll see it. There it is. And then if you wanted to make this work, you can do set interactive and then we can do on, and I believe, let's see, phaser dot input dot events dot game object, which is a game object down, get a function, and we will do console.log, let's say pressed. Okay, so click, did not work. Let's see, set interactive dot on game object down. What am I missing? So let's go to the arcade blog here. So we're going to do something similar to this particular article, not exactly. Let's just make sure we didn't forget anything. That's our on click. Okay. Button container. So let's say button container. Container implements iButton container on click. Implement rest of iButton methods. Disabled. Let's see. How did we set this up? Using the button container. Okay, let's check out our more simplified, because it does build on top of this article. We're not going to use RSJX in our example here. Set interactive dot on. Oh, it's not down. The event is wrong. It's pointer down. Okay. So now at least we have here this button, this image that can act as a button. So of course, what we really want is the button to respond on over, on out, on click. And since in Phaser you can't add children to any game object, it's a flat hierarchy, we can use a container to contain all our buttons or different states into one, and then respond to the events by changing the button texture out for over, out, and click. So for an extremely simple button, you can just do this, but there will be no out over effects. So to get those effects in, let's make our own custom class. So let's just create a new class. We're going to call this, let's just call it custom button.ts. Okay, let's collapse this, and we will import Phaser. We are going to use phaser.container, so make a new class, custom button extends phaser.container. Now, why does it not, oh, phaser.gameobjects.container. Yes, so Siri heard her name and decided to show up. Okay, so we need a constructor, and so what that constructor needs is, it's going to need a scene, right? It's going to need an X, it's going to need a Y, and children, but we don't really care about that. So scene is going to be a phaser scene. X will be a number, Y will be a number. Okay, so that's good. So that's good. So let's see. Now we could pass in all the images here for up, for over, out, up, all those various events. But let's just say, so this dot set interactive, and then on, so phaser dot input dot events dot game object. So now we know it's not just down, it's pointer. So pointer over, so I want to handle over, right? I want to handle over, and then we want to also handle phaser dot input dot events dot game object pointer out. And in those cases, we want to switch the texture So we need to actually make, so those are the events. So this dot add probably, so we're gonna do this. This is TypeScript, so we can give ourselves private class properties. So we're gonna call this the up, image, phaser.gameObjects.image, and well, no, but in the constructor we're saying the constructor, so private, and then we have over image dot image. So this dot up image is going to be scene dot add dot image. Right, so if we passed in, let's just do that right here. I'm going to call this up texture. It's a string, and then over texture is a string. Let's see, the first one is actually right position. So 0, 0, up texture. And then this dot over image. So right now these are being, of course, added to the scene. We're going to relocate them right after this. That's over texture. So now this dot add existing. We are in a container. Yep, this dot add, this dot up image, this dot add, this dot over image. So I'm going to move these into our container. So that's right. And then the start over image is going to be hidden. So let's see, set visible false. So on over, this dot up image, well, let's just not do too much before we test this out. So this is our button. This could be correct. Let's see. Let's just try it out here. Import custom button from custom button. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so const button new custom button. So we're going to pass in the scene. We're going to put this at 400, 300. The up texture, let's call it, I think, so that's 2, that's 1, it's 3. I think it's 2 and 3. So 2 is up, button 2, and then button 3 for over. So there's the button. So this dot add dot existing button. Let's see what we got. So the button is added. Okay. There is a little warning there. So I believe we can do that. Okay. Put that here area to callback is not a function. Let's see. Let's look at some docs. Dot add, and then we're already in there. So container. Let's look at this container. Phaser game out the container. So set interactive. Okay. No, I want set. Okay, here we go. Shape, either input a configuration object or a geometric shape that defines the hit area for the game object. If not specified, rectangle will be used. So this should be fine. We'll call set size first. That's my dog looking at a cat. Okay, so it's going to be the up image dot width, this dot up image dot height. So let's set that size, call set interactive. That warning goes away. That's good. So now let's do console.log over. Let's just make sure the code we already have is in fact working before we add too much code. It's always easier to work with less code than more code. So that's over, that's out, over, out, over, out. Beautiful. So of course on over, we want to go from up image to over image. So this dot up image dot set visible false. This dot over image dot set visible true. And on out, we want to do the inverse of that. So if this was false, this should be true. True, true, and this should be false. All right. There's that. Oh, look at that. That works. Very cool. So there's that button. So now button dot, let's see. So it is set interactive already true, but we could call it again. It should be no problem. So now on phaser dot input dot events dot game object pointer down, right? That's what we used. Pointer down. This is going to be our click event, and so from here we're going to do this dot scene dot start, and we're going to start the hello world scene. Which so this key is defined here in our hello world scene right here. The same key, and that's why that works. Custom button demo. Let's see, hello world. Save this. Okay, refreshed. Press. There we go. Click. All right. So that's a custom button. So we can even add some text. So let's actually do that. Most of the time, your button will in fact have text. So let's go to our custom button. And we're going to have a private. So text. phaser.gameobjects.text, and this dot text scene.add.text 00 click me. Then this dot add this dot text. Dogs are being playful. And we can do set origin half there to have it align better. There we go. So there's also other text style options you can pass in here. We're not going to cover that in this video. We'll cover that in another video. But you can also check out the documentation. Just look up text style right here, to see, right here actually, to see what you can put in there. We will in the future make a video going over how you can load fonts from Google Fonts into your game. You can actually check out our making a phaser game, how to really make a phaser 3 game from scratch. One of those parts handles or looks at loading fonts from Google Fonts. We're going to leave this as is for now. So there's your button with text. And when you click on it, it goes somewhere else. Now, because this is a container, you'll see that we can move this whole thing. Let's see, 400 is the middle, so let's just move this down 100 pixels. Everything moves together, right? So there we go. So that's one of the benefits of using a container. The other way you can do is simply not use a container if you didn't want to, and then put this code, basically all of this, minus this adding to the container, in your scene, and you'll basically have 3 objects, one on top of the other, and you'll have to do this slightly differently than the over and out. I totally recommend using a container for this. It keeps your button items together. So that is your custom button. You can add more to this if you want, like including changing text after the fact. You can give it like a class property here, right? Set text, and then let's say new text string, and you would just do this dot text new text, for example. So that is buttons. Let me know in the comments below if you need help with anything else or everything is unclear using buttons in Phaser 3.